You're listening to the Couch Friends podcast with Crystal, Jenna, and Christy.
Welcome back to the Couch Friends. We're happy to be back. Let's do a little check-in really quick. Jana, you here?
I'm here.
Christy?
Here.
Biscuit? Yeah. I don't know if you guys can
He's
see
off
him, but
camera.
he's here. Where's Cooper?
Cooper is out sick today. He's not feeling it today. He
Poor
called
guy.
in.
He called in.
Called in.
Aw, we're missing some of our puppy friends today. Oh, here comes Biscuit. He's like, I'm here. All right. So I just want to ask, let's start out by checking in with, like, how's your stress level this week? There's lots of things going on in the world. How's your stress? How are you feeling?
I think mine's a 10 out of 10, if I'm being honest. I'm not really sure it ever goes below a 10, though. So, I don't know. That's just pretty normal.
Yeah. I was going to say I'm probably a 9.5. And it probably depends on the hour
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
week. I don't know if I can put it all in one week. Sometimes I'm a 3.
Yeah,
But
that's
right,
pretty big.
Right.
That's pretty good.
yeah, but right now probably 9.5.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Me? Okay. So what the funny thing is it relates kind of to what we're going to talk about today. Maybe we'll bring it up again later. But I took like a little stress test the other week, not like a running stress test,
okay.
but like a on paper, like life change, like how many things have changed, and they like rate the things, and so you circle, oh, this and this and this, and I was like, oh, this is not too bad. And then I tallied it up and I got like 322, and the test is like, that's high stress. And I was like, what? I'm not feeling stressed at all.
Really?
Yeah. And then my therapist was like, let's take a look at that.
That's pretty bad, though, if you think you're not stressed and you actually are.
I know. I was like, hey, this is way better, though, than it was
Well, that's good.
comparatively.
Well, that's
But
good. That just goes to show
Yeah.
how comfortable and, like, used to we get being so stressed.
right.
Like, we don't even know what it feels like
Yes.
to not be stressed.
It's true. And I think as moms,
Yeah.
if like I like take a little backtrack to our mental load episode where we talked about just all the things that we're responsible for, all the different categories of things. For sure, it's like we're stress managers like all the time.
What? You gonna sneeze? It's okay. Sneeze.
No, I'm not. I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna come.
I was like, she got a faint already. No.
I was like, here it
I'm
comes.
just kidding.
Here comes what I'm gonna do. Okay,
Do you need a Kleenex?
no, it didn't come.
I hate that
it
feeling.
didn't come, but
It's just like lingering
yes,
right there.
it was right here. I was like, here it comes. I was like, what am I gonna do? Crystal, wrap it up.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. No more sneezes. Sorry.
So speaking of our mental mother load, we had a viewer leave a comment about a topic that they wanted us to cover. So yay! Shout out to Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
thank you.
Yeah, because we're going to cover self-care today. This was actually a topic that was on our list of topics that we were wanting to talk about. So we're so excited that our viewers kind of agree that this is something that they would also want to hear. So that's
Yeah.
what we're going to talk about today is self-care. And I think, since we just all admitted that we're high stress,
Yeah.
how do we take care of ourselves even when the stress is high?
Mm-hmm.
It might always be high. So how
Mhm.
do we
Yeah.
manage that and create balance in
Yeah.
our life? So yeah, I guess we should define, how do you define self-care? What does that mean to you guys?
I don't know if there's only one way that I could really define it. I guess when I think of self-care initially, I think of like a face mask, a bubble bath, a glass of wine. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that, really, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I guess really overall, it's just not forgetting about yourself too.
Mhm.
There's so many other people to take care of in most people's lives. And I think it's easy to get consumed with that and kind of forget your own needs. And it's great to put people, ahead of yourself sometimes. But if you don't, it's like the airline you don't put the airline mask on
Right.
yourself first, then you don't have the ability to help other people. So I think that's why it's important and what it is. It's
That's a good
allowing
analogy
you
to think about.
take care of other
airline.
people better.
Yeah, I think same thing, but I think it can be so many things as far as self-care, you know, what you need, and sometimes it's different.
I would say whatever I'm pointing to my heart. It's like whatever my heart is requesting
Yeah.
in the moment. And it could be like a little bit of quiet time. Like I just want to be alone. Or it could be like, oh, it'd be so nice like to snuggle up in my bed with a book, you know.
Yeah.
Or it might be like going to dinner with friends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I
think it can
agree.
vary.
It can vary just
Yep.
depending on like what you feel is maybe lacking a little bit that needs to be filled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes so much deeper than that too. It's just not like the things that you do, but I think it's, you know, like how do you speak to yourself? The self-talk that I think is a big self-care, or like something that you do that like is very destructive to the self. So yeah, I think we could go a lot deeper about what it is.
Yeah, you just went a lot deeper. So we're going to dig there for a little bit. What are some self-destructive things that we as women tend to say to ourselves that we would never say to another person, but we're fine, hey, self, and we say it to ourselves?
I mean, I tell myself I'm stupid a lot. Like, Christy, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? That was so dumb. Why did you do that? Why did you say that? And it seems, you know, kind of harmless, but it does affect what you think about yourself. There's a saying that your thoughts become your words become your actions, and your actions become your character. So what thoughts you have, like, it is important to take captive, I think, even when it's about your own self, because it just really spirals into how you treat yourself, and then in turn how you treat the people around you.
Yeah.
And I think for me, doubting myself in different things where I'll say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that. But then it's like, no, you should have said that. You have a right to say that. You have a right to whatever it is I'm dealing with, right? Like I backtrack and I'm like, oh, then I'll maybe text y'all and be like, no, you're good. You know, so I just kind of, I guess, doubt myself or think that it wasn't okay what I said or what I did, but it is, because I can stand up for myself too, you know?
Yeah, the self-doubt, that's a big one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the critical, like, we are our worst critic.
Yeah, and I would add to that list, I think one that I tend to feel from time to time is, well, I'm not good enough. I didn't, there's like, no matter what I do, it's not going to be good enough. And that leads to like, well, I don't deserve to have like a nice self-care thing or whatever. I have to keep working harder. I don't have time for that. And then you just said the should-haves, right? Should-have statements.
Bad.
Which, they're the worst.
Yeah.
They like, they occupy my brain. And actually I've worked really hard to be like, no. But let's talk about some of those should-have statements, because they are pretty destructive when you're like, well, I shouldn't take time to myself because my kids need me more. Or
that mom guilt sets in and you're like, no, I should do this for them, or but no, you should do it for you, you know? You should. But I'm guilty of that too, of not, or inputting, you know, my kids' needs or anybody else's needs ahead of mine all the time, and then forgetting what maybe I need to do. Or I don't know, recently we had talked about trying to walk like 2 miles a day, you know? And I'm like, oh, how am I going to fit that into my busy schedule? Like, when am I going to do that? But it's important for me to figure that out, because that's my health, right? And putting that as a priority, and that should be a priority. So I'm working on that.
and that's great.
That's a good should.
Yes. Exactly. It shouldn't be like, well, I should be working on it. It's just, I am. I'm working toward it. I feel like the word should for sure has like the cynic critic feel to it. So if you catch yourself saying to your own self, I should do this, I should do that, I should have done this, I should have done that, stop yourself and give yourself a little bit of compassion. Self-compassion, and say, what have I already done that's great? What am I doing right now that's good? You know, let's talk about burnout. I don't know if moms we ever think about being burnt out, but I think we've all experienced it. We've talked about it a little bit in the mental load, but do you know what it feels like? What does it feel like for you when you're just like, I'm at the end of my rope?
I mean, I think whether they realize it or not, every mom feels burnout. And it's maybe just normal, you know. Burnout for me is, I think it's like where I get to the point where I am just so overwhelmed or overstimulated or just overtired. I mean, the list could go on, that I feel like if one more person says one thing to me or asks me for something or touches me, that I'm just going to like fall apart and to pieces. And that's, I mean, getting to that point, I think is not healthy. I think the burnout is probably a result of not taking care of ourselves. But yeah, I think the burnout is just like, I literally feel like my brain is fried.
And it can be from all the things. You know, it can coming at you from all different areas. And like you said, you're overstimulated. It's just like, I can't add another thing on my plate. Like I can't. And if someone asks me to do one more thing or calls my name, I'm going to, like a volcano, I'm going to erupt.
Yes.
You know, and I don't know about you guys, but sometimes around 9:30 is my burnout.
Mine's 10.
10?
That's like my limit. Some days it's earlier, but 10 is my limit.
I am done. Like, we're done here. So let's reset for tomorrow. You know, it's a new day. And I think for me, a lot of it does come from being tired. You know, and then that's when I get kind of the burnout, and then I need to rest, and then I can reset and we'll be good.
It's amazing what a good night's rest can really do.
Yes. So important.
For sure. That would be, you know, I feel like acknowledging that you need the rest is definitely one way to care for yourself. Is to know your limit and to be like, it's 9:30, it's 10, we're done. And not to feel guilty about it, but just to be like, I have to be done or I'm gonna be even worse tomorrow.
And I've had to actually really work on that, and I've told my kids too that they're going to bed probably a little earlier than they would prefer or maybe even need, but because I have to get to bed and I have to get a certain amount of hours of sleep a night, or I can't function. But in the school year, I have to be in bed by 9. If I'm gonna like get a full night's rest, I have to be in by 9. So like by 10 now, I'm past
10. You're asleep.
I wish. No. That's another thing. I think the burnout, the stress, it I can't shut my brain off at night a lot of times. And I have a hard time sleeping anyways. That's a whole probably other problem.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that you just said that I can't shut my brain off. It made me think of something, and now it left my brain, but I'm sure it will come back later, because I was actually, you know, thinking about, as we're talking, I'm hearing mostly like self-care feels like physical things that we do for our bodies, whether it's take some quiet time or get really good sleep, or the face mask, or it's something, a special treat for our bodies. But you guys, tell me what you think. So there's a couple different categories, honestly, that I feel like can go into self-care. We can kind of imagine them like buckets that all need to kind of be filled and balanced, right? So we've already talked about like the physical part of us. So like wanting to, you know, be healthy or to exercise, to get good sleep and all that. But there's also like an intellectual part of ourselves that needs to be filled as well. We can talk about that in a minute if you're kind of like, I don't know what that means. Or if you're like, oh my gosh, yes. A social part to us, an emotional part to us, and also a spiritual component to us as well. And so what do you think about those couple of categories? Do you feel like, yeah, I can see how each of these kind of affect my overall mood or overall wellness feeling? Or just one stick out to you as being more important than the others? Or
what I think of when I see that list is I don't think you can actually be completely well unless you're filling every single one of those buckets. Actually, you might feel better with one or two, but I really think it's kind of, that's the whole, that's all of it. You need all of that.
Which makes me kind of think, when you say that, I'm like, how am I going to do that?
Where's the hours in the day for all that?
How am I going to get the physical, the intellectual, the social, the emotional, and spiritual all in one day?
That is the question.
Anyone?
You know, and I think, I don't know if this is an answer to that, but I think sometimes it's not always tending to them every single day.
True.
That's true.
But every once in a while,
a balance.
Being like, oh, you know what? Like, I haven't talked to my friends in a week. I should check in, see how they're doing.
That's true.
Or my friends haven't checked in with me, and I really need somebody to talk to. So it might be like one day of the week that you're like, oh, hey.
And I guess, like I was thinking about with this spiritual, or, like I was talking about the goal of trying to walk the 2 miles, right? Like, even if one day the spiritual is only maybe 10 minutes, but then I don't do it for the next 6 days, but that added a little drop to that bucket, right? Or filled it up, and maybe that carried me, or hopefully it would, or, and like, but I'm doing really good with emotional or social, because I'm getting out, I'm talking to people, I'm leaning on my friends, I'm feeling good emotionally. So then those maybe are overfilled. Maybe that will help the other ones, the other buckets, maybe.
I was thinking, I like to multitask. Like, I feel really good if I can like do 3 different things at one time. So say when I'm out on a walk, that's my physical. I think it also can be my emotional, because the endorphins from the physical activity kind of help you emotionally. Plus, if you have your earbuds and you have something to listen to, maybe you're listening to music, or maybe you're listening to a book or something that might fill either your spiritual or your intellectual. Or sometimes I walk and like just pray as I walk. Like, that's kind of like my time where I talk to God. So maybe doing multiple ones at the same time, actually.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about it like that, but I agree.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, the physical, like you said, you're out just on a short walk, or you just have a time to think. A lot of those can be filled in as well, depending on how you use that time.
Right.
Yeah. So, self-care doesn't have to necessarily cost you a lot of money, although sometimes you might want to.
Yeah.
Do a little splurge, because it's nice to get a new outfit or to eat a really tasty treat or whatever.
Get a massage.
Massage.
Yeah.
Take a cruise.
Yeah.
One day.
Yes. But, it's not necessary all the time to have to spend money or anything. You don't have to break the bank to feel like you're well cared for. It can just be small little things you're doing for yourself daily, and that and the intentionality of doing them, like the walk. Like, every day I am going to take a walk, and I'm going to hit these other things in between, depending on what I feel I need more, but just small little intentional ways.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you something, a little visual.
I love it.
It's called the Wheel of Wellness. And I love visual things, and I had to do this for a class. So this filled my little intellectual bucket. And it's very colorful. You can see it's super colorful, and it has 6 categories. The ones that we have been talking about. and it lists the way to fill the wheel to know kind of like how full you are is to go through and kind of do like a little self-evaluation, like to what percentage are you doing these things. So if I'm pretty sure you could probably find it on the internet somewhere. I did not look, so we would have to like fact check it and make sure you don't have to like buy it from a book or anything. But it's a great little visual to see if you're kind of wondering like, where am I full? How full am I? It was a really great exercise that I recommend. And another little thing I had to do, they had like all these little recommendations for just self-care. Do you want to hear a couple of them?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we already talked a lot about physical, but there's a couple other things in here that I think we'll be like, oh yeah.
Okay.
So physical self-care, it can be eating regularly, exercising, all the things that make sense, but it could also be dancing.
Oh yeah.
Playing sports with another person, getting enough sleep, wearing clothes that you like, being comfortable.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I put others, it has a little spot for others, and I put rest. Yeah, just resting. And then here it has the word psychological self-care. So I would probably put this in like emotional area.
Yeah.
But it says take time for self-reflection. That's really hard. A lot of people don't like to do that.
That is a difficult one.
Yeah,
No.
Definitely.
yeah. That's
It's uncomfortable.
It
Yeah.
can be uncomfortable, but I think it can also lead to greater peace.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Write in a journal. Do you guys journal?
I used to, but I do not anymore for various reasons. But when I did it helped.
I used to as well.
Yeah.
I used to write in a journal a lot. Actually, I think it was before kids. I wrote a lot, but
Yeah.
no.
I do sporadically.
Do you know what though? Somebody told me one time, because I think journaling it is so important, and for lots of reasons, to be honest. Somebody told me one time that you could just use like the Notes app on your phone,
Yeah.
and just talk into it,
That's a great idea.
and just write that way. Maybe on one of your walks one day or something. But instead of having to sit down and write, and then you could just print it out and put it in a journal. But it could be a lot a quicker way, but still have that information. So
That's a great idea.
I thought that was a great tip.
Yes.
I sometimes write myself emails. I do, like if there's like something that I really want to write down like that, like I like just a lot of thoughts or like a lot of feelings or something, and I just need to like get it out. I do sometimes write myself emails, and then I send them to myself, obviously. And then it's pretty private, like unless you can get in my email, you can't read my journal.
Yeah.
And then I can go back and I know like what subject I put it under, and yeah.
That's neat.
But that's
I never
very
thought
sporadic.
To send myself an email. Sometimes I'll send things to myself. Like if I find something out in the world, I'm like, oh, I need that. I'll
Yeah.
send it to myself, but not like notes to myself. I like that.
Yeah.
That idea. That's very cool. Let's see. It says here, for emotional care. So I guess they separate it from psychological care. It says spend time with people you enjoy. Give yourself affirmations. Yeah. So that kind of like we talked a little bit about not saying bad things about ourselves,
Yep.
but we didn't really talk about like what positive things we can say
Yeah.
to ourselves.
Yeah.
But if you need something really fun, it's so hokey, but it's really fun. Snoop Dogg writes songs for kids.
Does he really?
He does. And he has an affirmation song.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like a little rap. Affirmations are and it's like Snoop Dogg rapping, and all the kids like copy him. I am a good person.
Oh,
I gotta look that
cute.
up.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to start working with positive affirmation with little kids, but it's good for you too.
Yeah.
I put on for my kids, and they're like,
Mine would say the same, but that is really
That
good.
is cool.
yeah. Here's an important one. Allow yourself to cry.
Oh yeah.
That is kind of true, because after you have a good cry or like a pity party and a good cry,
Yeah.
you kind of do feel better.
You do. It is, but there is like scientific reasons for that. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's true. Yeah. My problem is I don't have time to cry. So I just kind of like stuff it all in and bury it down and like just keep it like right there. And then I definitely can feel the physical effects of not letting myself have a release like that. And then I get to the point where it's like, well, if something like sets me off to cry, I'm afraid I just might not ever stop at that point, because I've just, you know, I've just suppressed it for so long. So I'm really bad about that.
Yeah.
Really bad about that.
Yeah. I have a hard time too. Like, I can't just be like, and now I'm going to cry.
Right. Do you know
Something
what
has to trigger it.
Yes.
And sometimes it's like you want to and you can't.
Okay,
get it.
Here's my tip. Because I have found that if I say watch like a really sad movie or show and I give myself permission to cry about that. So I'm not like thinking about all the things that like in the past, however long behind me, have made me want to cry along the way, and I haven't. I just watch something that is like, you just can't not cry. And then it kind of just opens that. It's almost like a freedom to like open that up for like something else. And then it just comes and comes and comes and comes.
Yeah.
That's my little trick.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. Okay. And then the opposite of that is to find things that make you laugh.
Yeah.
So
That's a
sometimes
good
I'll,
one.
yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes when you have like, there's not time. I mean, I laugh a lot, right? But sometimes you just laugh
Yeah.
really hard. And like, those are the best.
Yeah.
They don't happen a lot for me, but it was
Yeah.
actually just the other night. I was out with my family and my kids did something just absolutely hilarious. I mean, hilarious. And I mean, I had tears.
That's the best.
I
It
haven't
is.
laughed like that in a long time. It was really funny. And then we were
Yeah.
all just feeding off each other, laughing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same thing as crying. There's like some kind of physical,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, chemical reaction or something when you laugh. Yeah. It's great medicine. When they say
Yes.
laughter is good medicine.
it is a good medicine.
And two, sometimes you just have to laugh or you will cry. And I feel like that's me sometimes. Like, in order to not cry, like I try to like make, I don't know, jokes or like make light of a situation. Yeah.
Laughter is a defense mechanism, like being a comedy.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It does.
I was anyways, I witnessed it in my own self once. I was sharing something with somebody and I was laughing about it, and I stopped and I said, if I don't laugh about this, I'm gonna cry. And I was almost gonna burst into tears, and I was like, that was so weird
Wow.
that my body was
Yeah.
actually fighting. Like, it was like, no, we're not letting this. We're not letting this. And we're going to like do the exact opposite action.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. All right. We're moving into spiritual. We've already talked about like going for walks, praying. We've mentioned, you know, these suggestions are, there's praying, singing. I know some people love to listen to worship music. If they're having a kind of a bad day or they need to reset their mood, that for sure helps. And then here it says, just be open to inspiration.
Yeah.
And find time in nature. And for me, that means kind of like be in the present, like noticing where you are right now, and gratitude.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just remembering something you said about gratitude, not in this period, but just in general, like about how gratitude can really.
Yeah, there's a someone I follow on Instagram that she talks about every day. She starts with happiness begins with gratitude, and like, what is she thankful for? And I think that's so true, that that can really change your perspective. You know, if you're having a bad day, or it just kind of kicks your day off, even just that little bit of thankfulness.
Yeah.
All these things are happening, whatever it is, but I am so thankful for this. Like, you and I just had that conversation, right? Like it there's so much that we have to be thankful for when we really sit back and ponder and we think about what we do have. And we do have a lot, right?
Yeah, you are what you focus on.
Yep.
Basically. And no matter what you don't have or do have, you always have something to be thankful for.
Always. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I kind of touched on the things on this list. So what's your favorite self-care activity or activities that you've participated in lately? Or want to now after we've talked about it? What do you want to do? Either something you're already doing or that you are like, ooh, I want to add this.
I don't know. My favorite is like if I'm having a hard day or something, or just I like to have going home, putting on like a soft pair of PJs, my slippers, putting my hair up, and like maybe wrapping up in just a blanket. I don't know. That is comforting to me.
Yeah.
Very simple.
I think my first, like when you first said it, I was like, I love to go get a pedicure.
I like that too.
I love it. And I
Yeah.
mean, but I can't always go get a pedicure,
Yeah,
right? I
right.
can't do that every day. I wish I could. But that is like, I don't know. That always makes me, because I think it's quiet. You got the chair massage, you know, you feel better about yourself afterward.
Yeah.
But I think also for me, just something that at home that's simple is I have a couch in my house that I love to I just go sit there, and it's quiet. It's kind of tucked away in a room by itself. And I think I just sit there, and I do have a special blanket that I use. And it's kind of a calming blanket. And it's just quiet.
Yep.
And I don't really have to even be doing anything or looking at anything or reading anything. I could just be sitting there. But it's where I just kind of go to have a moment and a reset.
Yeah.
But my friends always laugh. They say, "Oh, are you on the blue couch?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm on the blue couch." You know?
Sorry, that scared me.
Look at her hair.
My cat.
The hair of the cat's like,
Biscuit.
Link, run for your life.
Biscuit hates
Aw.
cats.
Does he really?
He really
I don't
does.
think Link has ever been in contact with Biscuit like that.
Nope.
He's
Not out in the
always-
open like
nope.
that.
Biscuit, come here.
We should be filming
Come
this.
here. Come here. All
Poor
right, run,
Link.
Link, run, run, run.
Job, Biscuit.
"Aw."
He's like, I'm gonna hide.
Go under
right
your
there.
little table.
Yeah, so I think one thing I tend to do, because I feel bad, honestly, if I spend a lot of money. I feel guilty, but so to counteract that, every once in a while I tell myself, I'm like, oh, I really like that dress. It's a good price. Like normally I wouldn't buy it for myself. It's okay. I'm not going to splurge all the time. But like telling myself every once in a while, it's okay. You can have that.
Yeah.
Because you like it, just because.
Yep.
But like my favorite thing is every once in a while I'll go by my favorite coffee shop, pick up a coffee.
Yeah, that's
Or
fun.
like a boba tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good
Not
self-care
all
right
the
there.
time, but yeah, it's just a fun little treat to
It
be like,
is.
I deserve this
A
today.
treat to treat yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to tell myself, like if I have a lot to do, I like to tell myself, okay, well, once you've done this and this today, then you get this. So like maybe if I have, I don't know, a leftover ice cream or something in the freezer, it's like I'm going to accomplish these things and then I get a treat. So yeah,
Yep.
same kind of thing.
Yes.
I think also too, like we've done this before where maybe we're just, life is crazy or we're stressed. And then we'll just send like a quick text like, hey, do you want to go to this quick restaurant? Like just really
Yeah.
quick. And it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be like a full meal, but just a little meetup, you know, it can be with anyone, but that can be for me. I think it's because the social and I talk and I do kind of a reset with friends and like, yeah, just that meetup can be really good.
Yeah, that social interaction and then like also alone time for
Yep.
me. I need alone time actually to
Yep.
take care of myself. Definitely.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I feel like we have some good ideas of how to care for ourselves. Maybe a little bit better than we did before we started talking, but
Yeah.
we want to hear from you guys out there in the world. So tell us, what do you love to do to take care of yourself? What's your favorite thing? How do you maybe spoil yourself every once in a little while? Out of the categories that we talked today, what was your favorite, or what is one that you hadn't maybe considered before that now, after listening to us talk, that you're like, oh, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention
Yeah.
to this bucket or that bucket? We would love to hear. And as always, if you have a suggestion for a topic that you'd like to talk about with us, leave a comment for us. You can find us on...
You can go to thecouchfriends.com. You can go to our YouTube channel. Please go subscribe. And you can find us on all social media platforms.
Alrighty.
Have a good day.
And until next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.